Alibaba is one of those stocks that I've been following for a while now, and I think it's the time for me now to snatch some shares. And before doing that, so I went and dig deeper numbers and see if Alibaba will be a suitable stock to buy at this moment. And I think if you want to triple, quadruple, and even whatever 10x your money, I think these are the kind of stocks that you want to look for. And today in this video I'm going to actually give you the numbers on Alibaba and what's a prediction of Alibaba stock, how much is going to be. So if you stick around in this video, you're going to know exactly the Alibaba numbers deep down. This is going to be a deep dive video on Alibaba stock itself, why it does, where the stock is traded, and what the price you're looking for going forward, because the number will really shock you and surprise you, because there's going to be a lot of money made from this stock. If it's your first time watching this channel, this is Mr. Money channel. On this channel I talk about investing in general. So and also I do a lot of valuation, stock valuation, also passive income. I cover those type of call ETFs, and also a dividend ETF that are on a good price at the moment, or value price to buy cheap. So if it's your first time, just make sure you subscribe, and also if you like my content, just make sure you hit the thumb up and hit the notification button, so whenever I release new video on these type of stocks and update, you are kept in the loop. So let's start. This is Alibaba Group holding. Alibaba is actually a Chinese company, but it does trade on New York. This is the stock actually we're covering because it's traded on New York Stock Exchange. You can see here NYC, that's where it's traded, and the price is 85.28. As of today, went down about the 1.64%, and after market it comes out to 85.35. So this is a US dollar. I don't know the price in Hong Kong and in China in general, but so let's look at the graph. First of all, you see the chart. Alibaba stock, Alibaba stock right now is 85. Do you know when last time it was at 85? That was many years ago, like 7 years ago. It was at it went down in 2016. That's when it went closer to 85, where it is now. It was at 86 in December 19, 2016. So since in current years, Alibaba hasn't gone down. The last time it was down was just a year ago in 2020, October 31st, 2022. That's when it was at the very bottom. So had you picked at that time, you would have made quite a bit of money, because at October that was the lowest, and then now it went up to 117, and then it came down again 85. And this is because of a lot of stiff competition that they have, and the stock is being punished for that. But we look at the highest it was. Look at the Alibaba. It was at 309. That's how much it was at in the peak. That was a peak at its peak in October 19, 2020. The lowest it has ever gone was about 59. That was in 2015. So it hasn't gone back to 59 in recent years. The last time it was at that price, closer to that, was in 2022. So when I look at this chart, if Alibaba is even going to maybe even 116, that would be great. But if you watch this video to the end, you're gonna see the value what Alibaba is predicted to be in few years. Actually, this is not just because it's predicted. Someone has feelings for Alibaba. No, this is backed by numbers. We look at the PE, what it has, and what income it has, compared to its peers and other stocks, and you can predict the stock is going to be good, because at this point is very cheap stock, and because of the earning and valuation. I'm going through those. Go through those numbers. So that's Alibaba. If we look at the in short, these are the number we're going to go through. But before we go through numbers, I'm going to tell you, because some people here are new and they don't know what Alibaba is. But for most people might know what Alibaba is. But if you don't know Alibaba, so Alibaba, as I said, is a Chinese company. Alibaba Group Holding Limited, through its subsidiaries, provide technology infrastructures and marketing reach to help merchants brands, retailers, and other business to engage with their users and customers in the People's Republic of China and internationally. The company operates through 7 segments: China commerce, international commerce, local consumer services, Kenyan cloud, digital media, and entertainment, and also innovation. So it's a pretty much like what we have on Amazon. It's a more related, more kind of related to Amazon type. If you are familiar with Amazon, you live in North America, of course, you know Amazon, or you live whatever around the world, you know what Amazon is. So if you look at the Alibaba, is literally like Amazon in a way. What sector Alibaba is, we look at the industry, is internet retailer, right? And that's what Alibaba is. And IPO, you went IPO, or in the first time it went public, because any company, first of all, is of course a private, then it goes to public, right? Initial public offering was in September 19, 2014. Stock, it does, it's a New York Stock Exchange. And when you come to sector, what sector is Alibaba? Sector is consumer discretionary. Employees, it does employ over a 250,000 people, so 254, 941,000. That's how many people it employs. So that's a huge company, you know. We can look at ticker symbol. It's Baba. Baba. I love the name. Baba, actually, it's a Baba actually in other languages, which you know, it's a other language. Baba actually is a father in certain languages. So that's a pretty cool name. I like that. And these are financial performance. We're going to look at these numbers, and we're going to look at valuation of the stock. So second thing I'm going to go is numbers. So total valuation. Baba has market cap. So their market capitalization, how big the company is 2.18 billion. But when you look at enterprise value, is 165 billion, right? Enterprise including other things, of course, is 165. Important date, it did, the earning was on May 18, 2023, before market opened. That it passed already, just like recently, the last month they had earning report. And we'll look at the ex-dividend date. There's no dividends, but I'm going to give you a number on dividend, pretty much how this dividend can be calculated using Alibaba buyback. I'm going to share with you that numbers. We look at Baba has 251 billion share outstanding. Those are how many share outstanding. There are a lot of numbers of shares. Out of those numbers, or share outstanding 2.56 billion, the insider only own 0.01%. Less than 1% is owned by insider, right? Owned by institution owns about 15% of the share owned by institution, which is a pretty good, because you don't want an institution to own bunch of shares, because once they dump them, then it's just, you know, they can decide to dump all the shares, and the stock will crash. So meaning the rest of the shares are just like a floating shares, are owned by other people, right? You know, just regular individual, me and you, and you know, some other small people. So which is good, because if I sell, you know, not necessarily someone else is going to sell the shares, right? But if it's institution, they usually dump all at once, and it's really not good. So when you look at any company, you have to look at these numbers, because then when the institution own less shares, they have to, any stock has to be owned by institution, but you don't want an institution to own a bunch of it. Like let's say, for example, 100% or 80% is owned by institution, they can just dump at once, and you know, the stock crash. So this is a pretty good. We look at the numbers, only 15. We look at the valuation ratio. So look at the PE ratio, because this is what most analysts and people always like, what's a PE? So what does PE actually means is a price per earning, right? So how much the price it is versus how much they earn. So at the current price, look at this, it earns about 21, like the PE ratio, it's 21. So anything above 20 is usually higher. But for stock like Alibaba, because it's more like a growth company, we can excuse it. You can say, oh, it's okay. But that's not, it's not too bad, right? But look at this. We look at the forward PE, because stock market doesn't look at the backward, right? You know, we look at the backward, and the numbers that the earning report was about 21, 22. That was PE. But look, forward PE. This is what you're looking for. Forward PE going forward. What's the PE are predicting? Look at this. 9.79. That's a cheap, man. That's a cheap. These are like a bank stocks and these kind of boring stocks. They usually have like a 9 PE. So a stock like Alibaba, which is more internet company and is growth company, to have that PE, that's a steal. Pretty much, it's a steal. It's a good deal. Um, Look at this one. PS forward price to sales, right? It's about 1.73. So it's a good look at those number. Financial ratio history, enterprise valuation, EV. What's EV? The EV is enterprise valuation earnings, right? Ratio measure valuation, but the price is adjusted for company levels of cash and debt. That's 15. So the number look pretty good. Look at financial position. These are important number. Current ratio is 1.81. Quick ratio, it's a 2. Look at debt to equity ratio. So what debt to equity ratio? So how much debt you have versus your equity, right? Debt to equity ratio measure a company debt level relative to its shareholders' equity or book value. So that's about, look at this. There's no negative. It's all about 0.16. Debt to EBITDA is about 1.8. So they pretty much have a very low debt. Like they pretty much don't have debt at all because they can just smash and pay everything and there's nothing happens. They still have a lot of cash. And we go to look at those numbers. We look at the financial efficiency, right? Return on equity, ROE, return on equity is about 750. Return on asset is 4.20. Revenue per employee, return on capital, it's 9.5. Asset turnover is 0.5, so that's a really low. So taxes, well, I don't care about that. In the past 12 months, Baba has paid 2.26 billion in taxes. This is for those people who think the companies, these big companies, corporations don't pay taxes. That's the number they have paid in the last 12 months. They pay 2.26 billion. That's a lot. Effective tax rate is about 17.66%. So I'm more capitalist, so I believe the companies, of course, pay taxes, and that's how much Alibaba has paid in taxes, and that will be both in, I think, I would assume in China and also in the US if they do business in there, but I don't know exactly where they pay those taxes, if they did pay in US or they pay in China or just as globally. I would assume it's globally because the company, of course, does business across the globe, and that would be the taxes that have paid, whatever they report or whatever they have to pay taxes. So that's like a lot of money they've paid. But end of the day, they still have a lot of money left over. You'll see here, 52-week change minus 18 within 15 when it comes to stock price. As you've seen on the chart. So 50-day moving average is about 88, and we'll look up to 200 moving average is about 88.89. Average volume in 30 days about 24 over 24 million. That's a lot of, that's average volume, meaning in 30-day average volume in daily, and it comes to that much. And the other thing number it's really great. We look at the short interest, short previous month. We look at the short percentage of share out is only 3.65%. So that means there are not many people actually shorting this stock because it's at the lowest. Why you short? Shorting is meaning you're predicting the stock is going to go down because it's very high value. So when you look at the short, it's only 3.67%. That means the stock, people are believing the stock is not going down anymore. That number is very important for someone who wants to buy the stock right now. So there's the two numbers we look at, the float shorts, because people make $1 billion of money shorting stocks. And if those people, they think the stock is not going down anymore, because only 3% of the whole overall 2.56 billion of shares, they're only less than 4% is being shorted. So there are many people, that smart people who short stock. Usually they're smart people with a lot of money. They don't think the stock is going down. So if they don't think the stock is going down, then I'm assuming the stock is going to be up. That's just upside. We look at the gross profit. Look at the revenue. It's 126 billion. Look at the gross profit is 46.43 billion. Operating income is 14 billion. Pre-tax income is 12. Net income is 10. EBITDA it's a 21.6. That's earning before income taxes and whatever depreciation and all that stuff. 21, and this EBIT, which is stands for earning before interest and taxes. It's 13. Earning per share is 3.99. So that's a good number because we take three. Earning per share is 3.99. So each share outstanding, then they earn about 3.99. And that's what this gives us it gives us a price per earning ratio that we have seen in previously. Look at the balance sheet. This is very important. So for you personally, if you go to a bank, they look at your balance sheet. Same as me, if I want to buy a stock, I have to look at the balance sheet. What balance sheet looks like, because this will give you the big picture of your wealth or your financial standing. We look at the cash and cash equivalent. They have right now $76 billion, and we've seen they almost don't have any debt, right? Look at the total debt. Look at this. It's 23.46. So let me do a little bit here, calculator. If we look at the calculator, let's say we do 76.34 minus, right, 23.49 equal 52.85 billion. That's how much they have. So they can pay all the debt today and they still have 52 billion left. So that's that's a healthy of the company. You look at the net cash is about 52. That's, I don't know why I did calculation, because that's exactly what it is. So there's this one plus this one will give you that number. We look at the net cash per share is about $20.63. So cash for each share they have, remember right now is 88. For each cash they have 20.62. We look at the equity to book value is about 144. We look at the book per share is about 56. Working capital is 45 billion. They have that much. We look at operating cash flow is 29 billion. Free cash flow, this is what you need. So after they have everything, they still have $29 billion free. They can do whatever they want. And because they have that much cash, whenever the stock goes down, they can always buy their stocks. We'll look at the margin, right? These numbers, gross margin is about 36%. That's the important number I can see. Operating margin is about 11.56%. Look at the dividends. Remember, I mentioned that I'm going to tell you how Alibaba pays dividend through share buyback. So buyback yield is about 3.09. Shareholder yield is about 3.09. So pretty much what they do, any company. So for example, when AT&T, for example, pays you a dividend, when you take those dividends, they take the dividend out of their earning and they give it to you. So if you take that money, you give it back to the company. It's kind of like so let's say AT&T, instead of paying the shares, they actually take those income, they give it to you. So that's what's called yield. Is literally like they're giving you money, but in this case they actually do not give you cash. They actually take the money, instead of giving to you, they buy back the shares, and that reduce the share outstanding. That means they increase the value of your stock. So that's how they actually give you dividend, but not actually through cash, but through buyback, which is a strategy Warren Buffett uses. Berkshire Hathaway does not pay dividend, but they do a lot of stock buyback. Apple does the same, and most other companies. So we look at forecast, analyst forecast, right? The average price target of Alibaba is 144. From where it is today, it will be about 69.15%. That's a target. That's the average price target. I'm going to show you the other targets that they have. Analysts consensus, so it's about strong buy right now, and analysts with 24 of them, they actually think you should buy the stock because it's very low. Revenue growth forecast about 10.13%, and EPS growth, which is earning per share growth, about 28. Stock split, Alibaba hasn't split its stock yet, like we've seen on Amazon, we've seen on Shopify, we've seen Google and Tesla. They all split their stock. Alibaba hasn't split their stock. So that's the thing. We look at other analysts. What analysts? Look at this. Alibaba stock, the highest average, the 144 is on average, about, which will give you about 69% from where it is today. The lowest was about 28% from where it is today at 110. The median I was 141 or 65%. When you look at the highest, the Alibaba is going to be it's 220. So if you buy Alibaba today, then if you are more bullish, you're looking to get about 157%. But this is just analysts from this type of analyst, and this I'm reading from this. This is like a stock analyst, very great sources of the analyst for stocks. But we look at this. If we look at the investing.com, these are other analysts. So analyst price target of Alibaba average, look at that average, it's 993% or about 1065 upside. That's how it is. And all of them, they recommend a stock will be a strong buy. These are looking for metric for long term. According to those numbers I read to you, they look at those numbers, they look at other stocks, they think the stock is going to be about 995, 93, 64. Highest is 1,274. Lowest is about 68, 684. Price from that price of 85. That will be, if we give those numbers, that would be almost 1,000%. A number of analysts on this in this chart, there are 47 of them. And all of them, they recommend a strong buy. No one says neutral. Everybody is saying not only buy, but strong buy. So I made a video on a Neo, and it was just a buy, but this one is actually a strong buy. So this is tell you everything you need to know. That's all for today. For me, my conclusion is end of the day, at least Alibaba is a double. I don't think it's going to 1,000. It could, but I don't think it's going to 1,000%. That's quite a lot of. But I'm thinking this valuation about the valuation that they have here, about 200% to 65. I think that's a good, more of median I would go with. But there's also a chance it can go to 200% to 300% to 400%. So that's it for today. I just want to give you an update on Alibaba stock and analysts. This is a deep dive I wanted to give it to you. And if it's your first time, just make sure you subscribe. And this is Miss Money Mind. Again, I talk about the stock. What do you think Alibaba's stock price is going to be going forward? Do you think it's going to be a 100%, 200%? Bye bye.